I mean, I grew up wanting to go to war, you know, because I'd seen all those John Wayne movies, and then along came Vietnam, boom, I got cynical.
You don't want to go to that war.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what about, did you grow up with any attitudes about war, about wanting to go, being a soldier?
You know, I probably grew up with the same images that everybody did and thought ultimately that it was glamorous, that it was cool somehow. I mean, you know, like when I was growing up, TV shows like Combat were on TV. Well, actually pretty adult stuff, but then like the Rat Patrol was also on, and there was nothing neater than the way those Jeeps came up over the sand dunes firing those 50 caliber machine guns. So it was glamorous. As you get older, well, I mean, you know, then Vietnam was going on when I was, you know, in junior high and high school, and that obviously something was wrong there because we were seeing something that was just not pleasant. But I must say, the idea of being in the armed forces. When we were doing Forrest Gump, we visited Parris Island with Dale Dye, who was our advisor on this. And, you know, I couldn't help but think, you know what, the Marine Corps might have been good for a guy like me. The experience, are you a Marine?
No,
oh, well,
but
still going through that and meeting those demands of yourself over and over again would probably change you and be a good life lesson. But the concept of going to war, I can't help but imagine that if it's December 8th, 1941, and I'm, you know, and I'm of, you know, serviceable age, I think you do.
Yeah,
I think you do.
You definitely would have gone. I mean,
well, back then, I don't, you know, look, half the world is involved, you know, is being turned into a slave state. So yeah, I think you do. I think you have to.
Was this a painful experience for you doing this movie?
Painful? No. I mean, emotionally testing. Yeah, we were. We had set out, because Stephen and I were involved on it from the word go. I think we had set out to make a very specific kind of thing. We didn't want this to be a caper movie with a World War II background. We did not want this to be a bogus World War II movie in which a ragtag group of blah, 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 you know, outsmart the Germans and anything like that. We wanted it to be this authentic examination of what it must be like, what it must have been like to be a guy who was undergoes the training and the specifics of what it was to be in Normandy from the 6th to the 11th of June of 1944. We wanted it to be true, so that the audience members sitting are not just looking at yet another mythic presentation of the greatest armada and freedom in the history of mankind, but are instead looking at, this is what it was like to be one of the guys on the boat.
We're a bunch of guys wisecracking.
Yeah, and one's from Brooklyn and one's from we got like 3 guys from New York in this movie, so it's not even like that that kind of like bomber pilot crew from the officially censored war movies of the 1940s.
What do you want it to say to people? I think now that, you know, those people that you portrayed, and I mean, are now in nursing homes. You see them walking in canes, or they're dying. Well,
you know, it's interesting. The idea of like, what is the message of the movie? I don't know if there is truly a message of it, other than let's hopefully never have to do this again. Although the nature of humankind is we'll probably will have to. Is that, look, truly honor the guys who went through this, whether they did well or not, whether they, you know, came out better human beings on the other side of it. They put themselves in harm's way in a manner that is worthy of our respect. And Dale Dye even like mentioned this fact of like honor these men, not just the fallen, but also the survivors.
By the way, one last question: how do you react to people who would say, "Wait a minute, this is unnecessarily violent, so you don't need to see guys' legs come off"?
Good Lord, you know, the nature of the violence that we see these days is so glamorous and so glorious. We have become used to seeing planes crash and buildings explode and tankers full of oil, you know, go up in glamorous mushroom clouds, and we all think, "Ooh, hey, that looked cool. Did you see that building blow up in that movie? That was really great." And what is completely discounted is the reality of what that is. I think this is just the opposite of that. We show the violence, and yet the real point of what we're talking about is the lives that it takes. And in which case, this is a much more responsible type of movie that we've made, as opposed to these other movies that just use it as cheap storytelling devices.
You made a great movie.
Well, thank you.